But yes,
by the way, I hope everyone's got some type of tasty libation to help
cheers.
with the
Oh
evening,
my God, everybody has
cheers.
me.
You know what? I'm not gonna lie.
I'm on the 40.
I knew I was gonna be with Lindsay and Mike, so I'm double fisting
Okay,
it.
well,
So,
can I
look at you.
Can I go get a drink?
Yes, go get a drink.
Go
We
get a
encourage
drink.
that. Yes. So I have the.
And we're already recording, so we'll just go right away. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Geek Boutique podcast. Hey, today we've got some special guests with us. Today we're actually going to be talking about probably one of the most beloved movie trilogies of all time. I mean, I'm sure that's debatable. It's the 20th anniversary coming this year, or this month, I should say. There's a brand new TV series in production at Amazon, I believe. It's Amazon Prime developing a brand new TV series. So, of course, today we're going on an adventure, folks. From Minas Tirith to Rohan, from Gondor to Mordor. That's right. Today we're talking about The Lord of the Rings. What's going on, everybody?
Yay.
So very little.
Hey,
It's
going.
going.
It's going. Yes. Well,
It's going.
Yes, we're on the liquor already. It is what it is. Week's almost over. Before we get started, if you're watching us here on YouTube, make sure you click that like and subscribe button. But if you don't want to sit through this hour-plus video of us yapping away, you can always listen to us on your favorite podcast platform. Actually, we're on every podcast platform right now except for Apple Podcasts and Spotify. I need to figure out if this is a problem with Podbean or if it's them that's restricting things, or I got to figure out what's going on. But if you just go on Google, search for the Geek Boutique podcast, we are the first, 3 or 4 links that'll come up.
On Spotify? You can find it on
Google.
Oh, okay, great.
On Google. Yeah. We've got some special guests today. First of all, Cosplay's Lindsay.
Hey.
How are you?
Hey, I'm good, thank you. I'm good. I'm so excited.
How about you take 30 seconds to tell the audience here who you are?
Sure. Okay. So my name is Cosplay's Lindsay. My name is a mix of cosplay and Lindsay. Obviously, I mean, it makes sense now, but like
you don't say.
Coming hot out of the gate, Lynn.
Like, so many people don't understand it. They're like, Cosplines? Like, I don't get it. I'm like, no, it's Cosplines.
Cosplines. That'll stick. Don't.
So many people are cosplaying. They don't get it. I'm like, it's pretty straightforward, I feel. Anyways, so that's my cosplay name, obviously. And I got into cosplay by, actually, I was just telling JS this. I got into cosplaying the new Harley Quinn. Well, not the new anymore, but was new at the time, obviously, from Birds of Prey. And that was a lot of fun. And I got such a great reaction at the convention. And I mean, I knew I was ready for cosplay, like, the moment I stepped into it. Because I've always loved Halloween. Like, I love but I also love, like, the art of it and the crafting and like building and like the photography, every aspect, photography, cinematography, all of it. So amazing. And I honestly don't know what I would do without cosplay and obviously all the friends that I've made in this world. It's so crazy.
Well, it's nice to have you on the show tonight. I hear you are quite the Lord of the Rings geek, so that should be good. We've also got Mr. Crazy Mike Cosplay with us tonight. What's going on, Mike? How are you?
Hi. Crazy Mike Cosplay of Mike, and that's kind of a new. So I'm new on Instagram by myself. I am Mike from Medieval Mad Love.
So that is correct.
That's the other half. Unfortunately, though, Medieval Mad Love is no more. We're not together anymore. So I'm gonna it is what it is. Unfortunately. So I'm going to go off on my own and start my own Instagram, and because I'm still going to cosplay and I still a nerd and I still have these passions. And my number one nerddom from when I was a very young child, like 8, 9, 10, started with The Hobbit, read the books, delved deep into Middle Earth, probably cost me a lot of marks in high school reading Middle Earth as opposed to studying. So you're deep. I mean, it's Silmarillion, it's Unfinished Tales, it's Lord of the Rings. The books are my Bibles when I was growing up, and I love them and the whole world he's created. So the movies are an extension of that, but the movies, they threw me off for a while because they're different from the books. And I remember sitting through Fellowship of the Ring and thinking, oh my God, why did he change this? And why did he change that? So I'm too deep into the nerddom of J.R.R. Tolkien. But now, as years have passed, I appreciate the movies on their own level. And I love, obviously the books are still the passion, the Bible, the canon, but the movies, I do enjoy the movies too. So there it is. And then I do all the other cosplay. I'm DC and all kinds of crazy stuff that I've done with Jeff and some of the other guys. So yeah, so that's where I am at.
Well, that's a good segue. Mr. Jeff, Messiah Complex Cosplay.
Hi.
How you doing, bud?
It's been a long week, but we're doing all right. I came in anticipation. I knew we'd have a couple cosplayers on, so I wore my.
What do you got?
Wow.
Hi, Dad.
Yeah.
Well, I'm wearing black and gold, brother.
Yeah, I see
black
that.
and
Of course,
gold.
you're wearing black and gold. Absolutely.
I'm wearing black, so we all are on the same
exactly.
team.
We're on the same page. and I brought Boromir with me. So yeah, I've talked to you recently, and I talked to you when we first started, and we were coming up with topics to talk about. And I mentioned Lord of the Rings a couple of times, and we kept on saying we would get people on and we would do it. And these two are literally, like you said, you and I aren't going to have a whole lot to do. I have read the books maybe 2 or 3 times through, but not for many years. I didn't live them, and I mean the 4 books. I haven't read the Silmarillion, the Unfinished. I haven't read any of that. I've only read the Hobbit and then the Lord of the Rings, and I've seen both trilogies several times. But I'm not the super nerd that these two are. There's going to be references. They've already made a reference that I didn't get, so there's going to be lots of that. So I think you and I are going to get to sit back and kind of let them talk our ears off about Lord of the Rings. So
yeah, I feel like our generation was really like the books for our generation were, I think, a big thing, much more than today's generations. Kids today, they don't read Lord of the Rings, but back in the 80s and 90s, it was like required reading back then. And I'm kind of ashamed to say I've never actually read the books. I got
not even the Hobbit, JS?
No, not even the Hobbit. I got introduced to the Lord of the Rings through the old cartoon / live action movie that from the 80s. That was my first exposure to the Lord of the Rings.
Nice.
The Ralph Bakshi cartoon.
That's what it was.
Almost like a live action. It's
the one where Aragorn's wearing like a really short thing.
Yes,
and it's
that's
like,
the Ralph Bakshi version.
Yeah. So that was my introduction to it. So
Leaves
when the
nothing in
movies came
imagination.
out, well,
Please, if he bends the wrong way, you're going to see something. But anyways, you didn't, so it's all good. Sorry.
No, that's quite all right. But yeah, so when the movies came out, I was really kind of fresh to the whole world, and obviously, being a sci-fi fantasy fan, it blew my mind. But I was kind of late to that Lord of the Rings party, I feel like. Lindsay, how did you get into it? You're kind of the only one that really didn't talk about how you got into the whole Lord of the Rings thing.
I didn't know we were talking about. Anyways, I got into it when I was really little. I watched the Fellowship of the Ring, of course, with my dad and my brothers and stuff. And I used to like tape my ears to be like elf ears, because like if just a little push, and then so I used to walk around school. With
That's
my
awesome.
Taped
That's
like
awesome.
that, like my hair would cover, but anyways, I would still have taped ears. And then continued watching the movies, and then I only just started reading the books like not that long ago. Like I read them when I'm at work because there's not a lot to do. So I found them online for free.
Hopefully her boss is not watching this, but anyways, whatever.
So that's really good. And you know what though, like reading the books now that I've watched the movies like 5,000 million times, it adds on to the like I see where Mike's coming from. Like of course, like if you have this extreme knowledge of it or whatever, and then this thing comes in and shortens it up, and like also I noticed that it's like very like the very long pace. Like in the movie, like he's like, okay, here's the ring, you gotta go, you gotta run. Like, oh, I got stabbed by the Morgul blade, here I go. Like, run. And in the book, it's way slower. Like when he first gets the ring, it's like 5 or 6 months, right, Mike?
Yeah, it's a yeah.
It's like a long period of time.
It's a yeah.
And then like even when he gets stabbed by the Morgul blade at Weathertop in the book, like it's so slow. He's like, oh well, we're gonna get through the nights and we have to get to Rivendell. It's gonna be 12 days. I'm like, what? Like, where's the urgency? Like he's dying, he's turning into a wraith. Anyways, I digress, obviously. So yeah, so that was the so I mean I just fell in love with Arwen. I think she's so beautiful and she's so ethereal and so lovely, and I love their story. So I fell into her. I loved her so much, and Eowyn too. Like I cry every time there's something to do with Rohan. Like I thought the Two Towers for me, I don't know, it's so strong, and it's so I don't know what it is. Like Eowyn's also very amazing. Yeah, I don't know. So that was just kind of I got into it when I was younger, and I didn't read any of the books. I'm not much of a reader, but I got it. I love the movie. I watch it again and again. I think I've watched the trilogy this year like 3 or 4 times in full, and I might another time on this Sunday, the 20th anniversary. I think I will do something Lord of the Ringsy.
Actually, you sent me that whole Stephen Colbert 20th anniversary Lord of the Ring rap before.
Yeah.
If people haven't seen that, go Google that. It's genius. Most of the actors are in the video. Method Man is in there. It's wicked.
It's awesome. Well, Colbert's a huge fan, right? Like he's a crazy huge fan of Lord of the Rings. When The Hobbit came out, I'm fairly certain he cosplayed like only like that billionaire people can do, like amazing jobs for each character, and he did a magazine like a photo shoot or something, and I'm like, it was so good.
Well, he's got a cameo in the Hobbit trilogy too.
Does he really?
Right.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen the Hobbit trilogy either.
Yeah.
I never got around. I haven't.
The Hobbit trilogy is a disaster to me. It is nothing like the book. They take a sweet little kid's story and they turn it into this epic pile of steaming. It's not The Hobbit. It's not J.R.R. Tolkien. And I guess it's a decent movie in its own right. But for me, I've watched it. It's I can't watch it again. It's like, what have you guys done? The actual cartoon of The Hobbit, and then you and JS and Jeff probably remember the cartoon that would come on when we were kids. Actually, a wonderful little adaptation of The Hobbit that's a lot closer to the book, almost verbatim to the book than his movies. I have a hard time with The Hobbit, but that's just my opinion. Like I said, I'm hardcore. Like that's too much of a departure for me from the book. And there's too many really amazing elements that are in the book that are totally lost in those movies. And he, to me, he missed the mark. But anyways, like the conversation with Smaug that is in the book and the conversation with Smaug that's in the movie is just, it's lost. The depth of it's lost in the movie. But anyways, that's just my opinion. But the Lord of the Rings is different. It was well done. But The Hobbit, it was just, this is not Tolkien. Okay, it's an interesting movie. Too much of a departure for me. Anyways.
I mean, me not being the, Lord of the Rings super nerd that you guys are, I'm not part of all the different, like, Lord of the Rings communities and stuff like that. But is that kind of the running theme? Are people not really all that thrilled about the Hobbit movies?
Well, Lindsay will tell you that she's done some cosplays of Arwen, and it's Glorfindel in the book. And Lindsay will tell you that she's done cosplays of Arwen and actually gotten flack because it's not matching the book. So there is
the Chase Arwen,
there's an element that is that, but I think they're missing the point too. I mean, each one you're missing the point. It is still Tolkien. Just because The Hobbit doesn't work for me doesn't mean anything. It just doesn't work for me. The Lord of the Rings movie does, but The Hobbit doesn't. Because anyways, that's just, like I said, it's just when you're too deep into a nerddom, whether that's Suicide Squad, which I had a hard time with some of the aspects of the new Suicide Squad movie because I'm too deep in that nerddom. You got to be careful. Like the new Amazon series, like I'm a little bit, what is that, little, not pessimistic, but worried because I know the stories. I know what it should be. It's like, where are they going with this? So,
Well, that's another problem that I have with this Amazon stuff is that we don't really know yet what they're doing, do we? Like, are they retelling the story? Are they telling a side story? Are they telling the same story from a different perspective?
It's the second age. Like, so the Lord of the Rings is the third age, I believe. Right?
Yeah.
So this is the second age. So Sauron is not yet that big, great, powerful eye.
So it's a completely different story than what we've seen so
Yes.
far.
Like Arwen's not in it. She's not born yet because the second age was, I think, a couple thousand years prior to Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, we're talking thousands of years here. We're talking the Lord of the Rings takes place 30,000, 3019, I believe, in the third age. So there's 3,000 years there. The second age is 3,000 or 4,000 years, and the first age before that is 3 or 4. I think it's 3,000 years for the second age, and like 4 or 5. I can't remember. But you're talking thousands of years because the elves are immortal. Time to them is irrelevant, right? Whether it's first age, second age. Galadriel in the movies, in the book, in the Lord of the Rings, is one of the original elves from Valinor. Like, you're talking, she is tens of thousands of years old.
So
Galadriel.
what if Tom Bombadil been alive during the second age?
Yes,
What
Tom
he would have
Bombadil.
been, because he saw when the elves came originally to Middle Earth. Sorry.
I know we're getting into, but
No, keep going.
If we want
This
to
is why
talk,
we brought you guys on.
Yeah,
Not
if
you.
we
Exactly.
Knock yourself out.
Well,
if I nod off, just go ahead and give me a bump.
Yeah.
I'll wake right back up again. No
No.
problem.
well, I think maybe moving and talking about something relevant like the Amazon series, people are getting very excited about the.
I'm excited. Did you see they have a picture of the
There's one image.
scene of, but yeah, it's Valinor. They're looking at Valinor, I think. We
We
don't
don't know.
It's speculation,
We don't know.
I guess.
But then in the background, there's the 2 trees of Valinor, which are gone by the time the second age happens. So people, and it's a little bit, it's funny because when you're talking the history of Middle Earth, second age, a lot happens, but the first age is when almost everything happens. And there's a lot of tragedy. The stories are incredible. You have Beren and Luthien, you have Turin, you have all the history of the powerful elves coming out of Valinor back to Middle Earth. So I'm surprised that Amazon picked the second age. The second age is the first Dark Lord has already been defeated.
The first age?
We don't know. Maybe there's going to be flashbacks. And here's the other thing that Lindsay and I were talking about too with that is are they
shot forward?
Are they going to
hint at like stuff?
And Jeff and I were talking too. Are they going to Game of Thrones it? The rumor is they're going to Game of Thrones that series, which means sex, which means swearing, which means all the things that work for Game of Thrones and made that series great and more enjoyable. However, it doesn't work for Lord of the Rings and Middle Earth. And me, I'm going to have a hard time if they go Game of Thrones. So a lot of the hardcore Tolkien fans are like, don't you go there because it's another level. You know what I mean? What do you guys think of that? What do you guys think of if they go Game of Thrones with Lord of the Rings or Middle Earth?
Well,
Jeff?
I don't think.
Whoever.
JS and I talk about this when we get into the weeds on like Star Trek or Star Wars or Marvel or DC or whatever the case may be. The problem is you guys are super passionate nerds, and that's great. The problem is there's 1 or 2 of you out of every 10,000 or 100,000 or 1 million people, and they're not making that show for you guys. I don't mean
Absolutely
to
not.
but they're not making it for you. What they know you're going to watch.
They're
they have
making
to get
it to make money and making
right.
money. Right.
And the only way they can do that is to make it as broad appeal as possible, which is what Marvel has excelled at for over 10 years now. They've taken basic formulaic things and made it very, very digestible to everybody else. Game of Thrones, for the first 5-6 seasons, was an absolute, everybody was talking about that show because of how well it worked. And it was based very much on the source material. If you've read the books for Game of Thrones, you're seeing almost a verbatim thing on the screen from what was on the page. A couple of things were changed around here and there, but by and large, the look and feel of the show was very similar. With The Lord of the Rings, I agree with you, Mike. It is a departure from the source material, but if that results in increased viewership, then of course they're going to go that route. Right? It is going to eclipse eclipse Game of Thrones as the most expensively produced television series of all time.
They've committed $1 billion
I was
to
just gonna
this.
say, I think it's $1 billion.
If they're going to sink that much money,
5 seasons for $1 billion.
5 seasons.
Yeah.
5 seasons.
So that level of commitment, they're
Imagine
going to
if-
do whatever is going to bring him the most audience possible.
Sure.
And of
Yeah.
course, what their Amazon is doing too is what Netflix does with their content, what Disney does with they're also driving subscriptions. They want people, because you can only see it on Amazon, you have to subscribe to be able to get it. So that's what all of this content creation comes from. And if that means showing some killing and some titties and whatever, that's what you're going to see.
Bring on the Elven TNA. You know what I
There you
mean?
My understanding is that they're going to film these shows in the same manner that they film the movies, where they're not filming this as individual seasons. They're going to be filming this as one show.
Sure.
And they're going to film
Wow.
straight and then release the seasons as they go. But can you imagine investing that kind of money in a show and the first season releases and it's a flop?
Yeah, that would be brutal.
Can you imagine what that's going to do to Amazon's, not just rap, but like to their books, to their stakeholders?
I don't think it'll matter. You're going to get a second
You don't think
season
so?
regardless. No.
Well, we
It'll be
are,
like-
because they've committed
that's-
to the
that's
money,
what I
right?
mean. So it might be like other shows. The first season might be rocky. It might take the second or third season before it finds its legs and finds its audience, but it might be a smash right out of the gate. Who knows? But like you said, it's money's in, man. It's wallet spent. Like, what are they going to do? They're going to make the show.
I think if anybody can do it, it's Amazon. Like, what is it, Bezos? He's got money, so I think the money's there. So, and it's going to fly. I think unless it's really terrible, it's going to do well. Let's face it. There's enough Tolkien fans. There's enough people that love Lord of the Rings.
It's been holding on strong for 20 years. Like,
Yeah, it's going to go.
I mean, it's
going
not
to do well.
as intense, obviously, as it was in the beginning, but it's still holding on way stronger than what's another random movie that came out 20 years ago that we don't even remember anymore. So,
Well, not many. Not many, right? But I think a big part of that was Lord of the Rings, especially the Two Towers, was visually revolutionary. You know, when they're attacking Helm's Deep, that blew my freaking brain out of my head.
Great battle scene.
Amazing battle scene, but they really pushed it to the next level.
I loved
now.
when Gandalf came around over the east, looked to the east or whatever with Shadowfax and all the riders of Rohan. Oh, that was so powerful.
No, but I get
imagine what they
JS
can
is
do
saying.
now with that kind of a budget, right?
And they
Oh,
created,
yeah. Oh,
Weta
yeah.
Digital did all the CGI effects for that. They created those random CGI soldiers to each move individually in this 10,000 Urukai army that had never even been attempted by anybody before that time frame. So
Yeah.
that's, JS, you're right. It was revolutionary what they did in that film.
Absolutely.
They invented technologies to make that
Mhm.
film work. There's no reason to think they're not going to do the same thing again with the Amazon series. So yeah, we'll see, man. I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to watch it. We'll see.
Yeah, for sure. Now, if you're talking about the actual history in the books of the Second Age, you're talking about the elves now basically making the rings. The rings of power are made in the Second Age. Sauron is not the menacing, monstrous, evil being. He's actually a beautiful, charismatic person that can convince people he's good, and you will listen to him because he has that charisma. So he's not this evil being yet. Well, he is evil, but he looks beautiful. Then you have the men, the actual men, the rise of Numenor, which is the island nation of the kings of men, the Edain, who
Eventually become the Dunedain, no?
they're the Dunedain. So you have Numenor, so you have Valinor, Numenor, everything's still in the world. So the elves, the high elves, the Numenorians, which are the kings of men, which Numenor was the land of gift given to the men who fought against the first Dark Lord as a reward. Unfortunately, though, the men of Numenor start to be corrupted and desire immortal life that the elves have. Sauron comes to them and promises a bunch of stuff. So you have the downfall of Numenor, which is Atlantis. It's essentially the Atlantis mythology, right? The wave that comes over and destroys Atlantis. Same thing happens in Numenor. There is some good Numenorians that escape. Elendil, Isildur
Is that
are the ones that escape.
Northern Kingdom? The Northern Kingdom? What's it? Alganar or something?
Arnor, and that's not mentioned in the.
So this is all stuff
movie.
that happens in, you said, the Second Age?
The Second Age. So that'll be touched.
So those are the
touched on.
stories we're going to be getting in
Yeah.
this Amazon Prime show.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes.
Interesting. Hey, okay, so I'm going to get a little bit controversial here. And please, no
Great.
infighting. Okay.
Bring it.
I mean, you can throw some jabs at each other, but no scratching eyeballs out. And theatrical or extended.
Extended.
Lindsay, okay. There you go. Mike.
Oh, extended, absolutely, without a doubt.
Jeff is extended as well. Yeah. Okay.
No, theatrical. Who's got time for extended? Jeez, what am I? Oh, I got 15 hours in a day to watch 3 movies. What are you at here?
Come on.
I got to get in and out in 3. I can't. 3 hours each. That's all I got. You get 9 hours of my time. You get nothing else. Everything after that is just hubris on Peter Jackson's part. What are you, nuts? No way, man. That's no. Obviously, for anybody that's going to binge any of the trilogies, just make it a weekend. You watch one on Friday, one on Saturday, one on Sunday. That's your best way to do it. And if you're going to do it, you might as well watch the extended if you're going to dedicate that kind of time to it. If it's like we're going to wake up on Saturday at whatever time, 9 a.m., and we're just going to watch all 3 in a day, I would probably choose the theatrical at that point so I can fit it all in. I know you're all like, yeah, get that out of here, but
no. One day, you had it right. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Now, what's the favorite movie of the 3? Like mine is Fellowship. I like the
Yeah,
Fellowship.
mine is the Two Towers as well.
Yeah.
It's Fellowship or the Two Tower. I don't know. That's a really hard question.
Okay, so what's your favorite scene from the Fellowship movie then, Mike?
Oh, Moria. Absolutely, 100%. The Balrog, Moria.
Yeah, for sure.
Going through Moria, it was brilliant. It was close to the adaptation.
Yeah.
It just the Fellowship. It's a little bit
Balrog
slow
right
because the Hobbits. The Hobbits are a little boring. Let's get through the Hobbit stuff.
JS, if you read the books, like you have to really trudge through and push. Like I had to push through the first part because it's all hobbits. It's so boring. So boring.
JS, what about you?
Now,
what's your favorite scene from the Two Towers then that kind of locks it in for you?
Yeah, it's Moria for sure. When the orcs come in to attack them, and from the Two Towers, Helm's Deep.
Yeah.
Helm's Deep for sure.
Helm's
The Battle of
Deep's
Helm's
tough to
Deep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Helm's
Lindsay?
Deep, and when what's his name? Eowyn's brother comes over the hill.
Eomer.
When he comes over the hill with the army.
Her cousin?
Oh, they're cousins. They're not brothers.
No.
Okay. Well, anyway, yes, him.
Yeah. Carl
Urban,
by the way.
Carl Urban.
Yeah.
That whole scene. Yeah, that made it for me for sure.
And what about you, Lindsay? If you had to pick a favorite Arwen scene, because it's obviously going to be an Arwen
I was just gonna
scene.
say it's obviously Arwen. The first Fellowship is for sure is the Ford Brunnen. I know it's Glorfindel, but sorry.
The chase.
The chase.
Yeah, but in
The horse
With
chase.
the river scene or whatever.
The river
yeah,
scene.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
I watched
okay.
that. I watched that so many times where she's fleeing the Nazgul, and it's so powerful, and I love that. Two Towers, any of the stuff with Eowyn. I love that stuff.
Except for the stew, right? We don't like the stew. It's pretty.
Well,
shit.
it's funny. It's a funny
awful.
scene, and poor Aragorn. He's trying so hard. He's like,
Yeah, he is. He's like, I was kind of into you, but this stew's a deal breaker. I'm sorry, that's no good.
Yeah.
Back to Arwen.
Yeah,
Back to Arwen.
Yeah.
Arwen.
You had me. You had me for a second, Ao. And that blonde hair. Oh, this stew is shit. Get out of here. It's not
But and Return of the King, obviously. Well, I think it's got to be either the part just before the Narzel is reforged the sword, or the coronation scene, the whole 12-minute scene.
My friends, you bow to no one.
Yeah, it's so sweet. Is that
I completely agree. Completely agree. 100%.
Yeah,
Coronation scene is.
Yeah. No, it's fantastic, obviously.
And in that coronation scene, it speaks to me because the little song he sings is actually right out of the books, and it's the same words in Elvish that Elendil, his great grandfather, says when he first steps onto Middle Earth after the destruction of Numenor. So that was like, oh God, you got that right, Peter Jackson. It's like, absolutely. So he nailed that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, deep nerddom here.
Didn't Viggo Mortensen, didn't he write I guess he came up with the melody, eh? Because I thought they all
sure. I'm not sure.
I thought I was under the impression that he wrote the song.
No, the songs, that's right out of the book.
Well, the lyrics are they're Elven, right? That's not like Viggo Mortensen's gonna be able to, unless he was like sitting by himself, like translating stuff. But Pippin, Pippin's song that that he sang to Denethor. That was his. He wrote that song, and that was not the lyrics. The lyrics are from the Fellowship. I read when I was reading it. There's something I remembered the lyrics of the saying from a quote. I don't remember. Might have been something that Bilbo said. It was one of his songs, I think. Anyways, so that was his first take, and Peter Jackson was like, "Done. It's done. You don't need to do it again." So he did it one and done. Like his song that he wrote, Peter Jackson never heard the song. So I think they took the words from the books, but then I guess they came up with their own melodies or something. I don't know. Maybe.
I don't know. If you say so.
Yes.
If you say so.
Lindsay.
Yeah. Listen, one does not just walk into Mordor. One does not just do the song in one take. Come on, man. That's crazy tough.
So Lindsay does Arwen. Obviously, Jeff does Boromir. I will work on a Faramir. And actually, that stupid picture of the four of us as hobbits, I got to say, like,
oh, did you see it? I just sent it to you.
That was
printed
awesome.
out, and I forgot it. I was like halfway home. I was like,
So that's gonna be the thumbnail for today's episode.
That was brilliant. And you actually picked us. You got us right. Lindsay's Pippin, I'm Mary, Jeff Sam, and you're Frodo. And it's like, yeah, okay, like you nailed it. You got it right. You didn't miss any of us out there. So you nailed it.
Yeah, and I scoured, guys. I worked on this image for I want to say probably
it's ridiculous.
A week. Actually, I was even modifying it today because I realized Lindsay's picture that I had wasn't Lindsay's picture at all.
Yeah, it was Daniela.
Daniela
That
Melchior.
doesn't look like me. That looks like
So
Daniela.
yeah, so I was working on it still today, but yeah, I had a lot of fun with that, scouring through your Instagrams to find your faces in the right position.
Sure, yeah.
So, Jeff, are you saving Boromir for a con, or are you saving it for a shoot, or whatever?
No, just a con.
Just a con.
Yeah. I've tried it on, obviously, all in one shot, but I haven't actually worn it out anywhere. So, yeah, saving it for a bigger con, probably Fan Expo.
Well, that's like my coronation gown, the one that it's funny. Both of ours that Megan made, we're saving, right? Like I have my dress. Like I'm not. For the majority of the time, like every time I get a cosplay, like I'll like do selfies or like make a TikTok, but not for Coronation Arwen.
Yeah. So JS, you met Megan on our last Star Trek pod.
Yeah.
So Megan made this. And
Megan
really?
Yeah. And like I have at home.
That's what she was talking about when she was saying she was working on commission work for people that she couldn't mention.
This
I see.
No.
Yes.
So Megan put that one together, and it's
right.
It's really, really pretty. And it's like this train. Like I had her make it with like this huge train, and there's a really interesting fact about that. So Peter Jackson wasn't happy with any of the color choices by the costume designers for the dress. And he's like, no, it needs to be this, it needs to be this. So what they ended up doing was getting some white silk velvet, and they ended up dyeing it specific to the color that he chose. And so the same thing happened with me and Megan. I couldn't find the right colored green. And we did it the one time, and then it turned out we didn't like it. So she remade it. She did it again. But this time I got some white fabric, and she dyed the whole thing to the exact same color as the actual dress. And I have a little it's not the actual dress that's cut down, but it's the fabric. This is a piece from the museum.
Now, are you guys going to wear that like the Oxford Ren Fest in Dorchester? Are you guys doing Boromir and Arwen maybe? Would you guys do that?
Not Coronation Arwen, but I'll do another one. I'll probably do the one that's when she's in Rivendell.
What about you, Jeff? Are you going to do a Boromir at the Oxford Ren, or is that just for us nerds?
I would probably do Geralt before I would do Boromir.
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
Yep. Yeah, it's easier. It's more comfortable. It's better to get around in. It's not as cumbersome. No
See, that's a whole nother thing is the Ren Fest too, that you can do these medieval type of stuff. We can do them at cons too, but it's more appropriate at the Ren Fest. And Dorchester has a lovely little one they do at the Oxford Ren Fest. I'll give them a little plug. And I have a full suit of chainmail armor. I'm a Knight Templar. I'm a history buff as well. So I try to get my Knight Templar as accurate as possible. And it's a lot of weight because it is full riveted chainmail, leggings, everything as well. and I do that as well. So I've been into the medieval stuff, and Lord of the Rings is an extension of that as well. But that's what Renfests are really cool. If you ever have a chance to get to one, very different from a con, similar but different, and very unique. And so try it out. And if you're into cons and you're a nerd, you won't be disappointed, because it's a whole another vibe there, and it's cool. So,
I have yet to go to a Renfest. I'm dying. Jeff, do you go? Do you go?
I've been once. Yeah, I didn't dress
You
up.
have?
But I went once. Yep, to the Oxford one that he's talking about. So 'cause
And
it's
2
really
days
close
for
to my
2
house.
days or one?
Just the one day.
What did you wear?
It's just my civvies. I didn't.
Oh, so you didn't.
I didn't dress up. No.
Oh,
I didn't really have anything appropriate at that point. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it was probably towards the beginning of your cosplay career.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it was good. I bought a pickle.
The pickles are good. All these functions, dressing up. Once you dress up, it just takes it a whole nother level of fun,
Are they
right?
deep fried pickles?
No.
There's a barefoot dude that walks around with a giant pickle barrel and screams pickles at the top of his lungs in a very, very high pitched voice. And you go up and you buy like a beer can size, like a giant pickle from this dude for $2, and you just walk around and eat your pickle for a long and get all your sodium for the weekend in one shot. It's great.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. What about you, JS? Any desire to hit a Renfest, or any desire to?
Not really. I've never
cosplay a
been
medieval
into the whole medieval stuff. I've got some friends that are huge into it. Actually, I've got friends that got married. They did a whole medieval wedding thing.
Ooh.
Unfortunately, sorry.
What were they wearing? Sorry to interrupt.
Medieval clothes. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
That's my partner right there, man. That's my guy, JS, right there.
Again, I'm not into the whole medieval thing, so I couldn't tell you. I get now. To be honest, I wasn't actually able to make it out to the wedding. The wedding was in Quebec, so I didn't get to make it out to the wedding. But I saw all the pictures, and it looked amazing. And almost everybody was dressed up, like not just them.
Oh, that sounds so
Most
cool.
of the people in the audience, their parents, their families, like everybody was all dressed up, and so it made for really wicked photos.
Awesome.
But I don't have any kind of medieval cosplays. I was never into the whole medieval scene, so no. Like any of those Renfest or Renaissance fairs or any of those things,
but if we get back on topic, if someone held a gun to your head and said you have to cosplay somebody from Lord of the Rings, we'll make you the costume. You're just going to wear
Gandalf.
Cool. Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
That's a good choice.
If you told me today, us four, we're going to do a Lord of the Rings costume for Fan Expo next year, I'm doing Gandalf. Yeah,
man.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. Everyone needs a Gandalf.
Great choice.
You're almost the right age, so it's good.
Well, I mean, I would have passed that honor on to you, bud, but you know.
Believe it or not, I am not the token old guy on this podcast. This guy
Really now.
here.
I am. Yes, I am the oldest cosplayer, I think, in the world at this point.
You're not the oldest. In the
I'm 50
world.
years old.
Jeez.
So I'm in. Yes.
Oh, so by a couple months. By a couple months.
I'm sorry. You're 50. What?
51. Shut up.
Okay. Accuracy is important. I'm your brother.
But
I don't know how old you are. You're just going to fool everybody here on the
who's
podcast. I'm not going to call you out.
Who's the grandfather?
Oh, that would be me. Hi. That'd be me.
But yes, I'm the
Adorable.
oldest cosplayer. I'm usually the oldest cosplayer in the room. It's not a badge I wear with. I don't know. It is what it is.
Oldest guy in the room. What are you talking
I'm
about?
the oldest.
You're
Yes.
just the oldest person in the room. That's all right.
Yes.
This means you're more mature and wise than the rest of us,
but
Michael.
all this wisdom and nobody listens. I tell you.
Yeah. Can't imagine why.
No, it's funny. Like, and when we go out, like when we do the cons and like this group, the three of us are together, and we're usually drinking at Steam Whistle, and they call me. Not only am I the oldest, I'm also probably the biggest lightweight. They call me 3 Pint Mike because at 3 pints, I'm loving everybody. And it's like, I love you, and you guys
He's
are great.
noticeably drunk after 3 pints. It's great.
So that's why I never got to meet you the afternoon at Fan Expo then, because you were probably like.
No,
Yeah.
yeah. But
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
I
He's
seen you from afar, but that was as close as I got. But yeah, so the 3 Pint Mike, and that was another suggestion for my new cosplay name was 3 Pint Mike, but I went with Crazy Mike because when I was younger there was a serious Mike and a crazy Mike in our group, and I was the crazy Mike, so he was serious Mike, and anyways I figured that was the way to go. So
I don't know. I kind of like 3 Pint Mike. I think you need to change
No,
your
no, it's not.
the name of your
I'll
Instagram
make up.
page.
I know. It sounds good. Tanf come up with that one for me. God bless her. But yeah,
That is a good one.
I know, but stick with Crazy Mike.
Yeah.
It's already out there. We'll see.
So you guys not being a fan of The Hobbit? I mean, I was going to ask some stuff about The Hobbit, but Lindsay hasn't. Even
Well,
seen
no,
it.
go
Mike's not a
ahead. Go
fan.
ahead.
Go ahead. Yeah, maybe Jeff knows some stuff and he can step in. And
Well, I wanted to approach Smaug a little bit because I know they made a big deal out of the character. I mean, he was all over the. I mean, the marketing around The Hobbit was basically all Smaug. There's Benedict Cumberbatch.
Benedict Cumberbatch
Voiced
Yep.
Smaug.
Actually did motion capture for it, believe it or not.
Wait, did he really?
Yeah, and then they modeled the dragon's face after the facial expression. There's a really cool video out there. It's
Really?
a close up of him with the dots all over his face, voicing Smaug. And you should what he does to his face while he's doing Smaug is pretty impressive. Actually, there's a lot of things going on that dude's face. Yeah.
Huh, interesting.
Yeah.
it's similar to then Gollum and Andy Serkis or Serkis.
Well, Andy
Yeah,
Serkis
that
was
was-
fully motion capture. Yes.
Yeah, that was a direct. Whereas with Benedict, I guess it was more of a point of reference to make the dragon's face move similar to Benedict's face. But yeah, because Benedict.
So he
Cumberbatch
was on
is
set
not a
with
dragon.
them filming. When you
Well-
hear him speak, he's saying those lines to the actors.
I would assume so. Yes, I don't know. I've only seen the video of him up close with the dots on his face, contorting his face in a million different ways. So. I did enjoy the Hobbit films. I did enjoy, but I see what you're saying. They even named the second movie The Desolation of Smaug. So I mean, they definitely centered it around. They made the dragon the showpiece of like the big bad, I guess you would say, of the piece. Even though there was the white orc that was also the sort of the big bad as well. So there was
So that's what I wanted to approach. So he was really not the centerpiece of the original book, the way that they've made him the centerpiece of the movies.
correct.
Yeah, that orc was actually named in one of the appendices of Lord of the Rings, the War of the Dwarves and the Orcs, Azog and Bolg. And he's not mentioned. That was even before The Hobbit. But in any case, yeah, he wasn't mentioned. There was no named orc in The Hobbit at all. Or the Goblin King, I suppose, but that's it. So
Played by Manu Bennett, by the way, who was Deathstroke on the Arrow show. So
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that.
Yep.
He's a great
Azog
actor.
was.
I love him.
Oh yeah, I love Manu Bennett. He's fantastic.
Yeah. And I sorry to move from Lord of the Rings to Deathstroke, but he was amazing at Deathstroke. Although his outfit
he's
wasn't the best, he had the best. He was
he's-
so dead on as far as the character and the attitude, and yeah, he was kick-ass as Deathstroke.
Yeah, he was pretty displeased afterwards that it was just like a one season and done type of thing. Like he was hoping there was going to be an overarching thing where they would kind of keep bringing him back as the big bad, or at least a player type of thing. And they only really brought him back the one time.
No, I mean he was. I mean he was back for a whole other season. He was the big bad off the island as well. There was the whole thing on the island where he met Deathstroke, but then Deathstroke comes back and kills his mother. And
But that's what I mean. Yeah,
that whole season, right? There's like three different seasons of him.
But that arc where he comes and kills Mrs. Queen or whatever. After that, he was hoping the character would continue on.
Fair
and
enough.
The character didn't, so he felt it was like a wasted opportunity type of thing. But
Fair
and
enough.
I agree because he was pretty badass.
What's Deathstroke?
Slade Wilson.
What's Deathstroke?
You know, DC, Deathstroke.
She knows who Deathstroke
I
is.
don't
You
know.
know
Yeah,
What is
Joe-
it? Is he wear a red mask?
Yes.
No.
Well, orange and black.
Orange and black.
Hold on,
Kinda.
hold on.
Red and
He's got it. He's got a mask.
No,
So-
and he's not a red mask, and he's
It's-
not
or
immortal.
Orange and black.
And he doesn't break the fourth wall. He doesn't make stupid jokes.
Oh,
It's
Deadpool.
Joe-
You're talking about Deadpool.
No.
No,
No.
Deathstroke. Joe Manganiello and how do you pronounce his name? He's the
I don't
can't.
know who these people
I can't-
are.
I
I,
can't-
don't know. I just
I
stick to
can't
Lord of the
pronounce.
Rings. That's all I know.
Oh, you know your
sure.
Harley. You know your Wanda. You know your Harley.
Yeah, but that's Marvel. I know Marvel and I know Harley, and I don't know Deathstroke.
So
So that's okay.
As in, you're serious right now? You don't know who Deathstroke is, or are you just
It's
messing
coming.
around now?
Is it?
it's coming. There it is.
That's Deathstroke.
Oh, okay. Half red and half black. Kind of
Yeah.
like okay. No, I don't know.
Half orange.
Oh, that's
That's
orange.
black. Yeah.
Oh.
Now I don't know if it's his camera or his lighting or if it's the actual color of the mask, but that doesn't seem like quite the right orange if Deathstroke is supposed to be. Can you bring that mask up closer?
Did you just say the orange it's supposed what?
Can you show us that mask up
Yeah,
close?
no, it's not orange. It's red, like in the comics.
Well, he's not really red in the comics. Okay, you know what? We'll talk about this on our next DC show.
Right.
We'll talk
Definitely
about this on our
invite
next
me,
DC
'cause I
show.
know everything about Deathstrokes.
Deathstrokes. Now you make it sound dirty. Stop it.
Now it's good. Here goes the G rating. Way to go, guys. I already dropped the F-bomb twice.
Yeah.
Hey, Lindsay.
It wasn't even me.
Hey, since Jeff is showing off his Deathstroke here, how about you show us that sword behind you?
Oh, okay, sure, gladly.
I have one too.
This is
Oh, look at that.
Isn't it pretty? I was
Oh,
actually
very nice.
Like
I
lamp
Is
brought
that
shade?
glow in the dark?
no.
The rating's not glow in the dark. It looks like it's that glow in the dark green
So
color.
offended. No. Why would it be glow in the dark?
No, it's not going to shut up, Jeff. No,
What's the
it's
name?
not.
What's the name? What's the name of the sword, Linz?
Yours or mine?
No, yours.
Hadafang.
There you go.
And yours is Andril, or you said
Narsil.
Narsil, but it's
Either one.
Mm,
That's Arwen's sword. Hadafang's Arwen's sword, and
yeah.
Narsil.
And I also have my crown. I'll show you my crown too.
Wait, hang on. Why is there two names for your sword, Jeff?
Or Mike.
Mike.
Well, it's
Sorry,
actually
Mike,
called
sorry.
Andril. Okay, it's when Narsil, okay, the shards of Narsil, which is from the Fellowship. Remember when
Yeah, it's
Boromir
broken.
cuts his finger and he goes, "Oh, it's still shot," or something. So that was a terrible accent. Why was I even bothering?
what happens when they defeat Sauron at the end of the Second Age?
Yeah,
And
so
the Third Age starts. The sword is broken by it. In the movie, Sauron breaks it by stepping on it. In the book, it's broken when Elendil falls on it.
Sure.
So that sword, when it's reforged for Aragorn, it's renamed Anduril, which means Flame of the West, which Narsil means red and white flame or white fire, however you want to. That's one thing that was in the book that they left out of the movie, that Narsil or Anduril is like in battle, it's like a white flame. It's like a white fire that goes around it. So like you see Sting in the movie, it glows blue. Gandalf's sword's supposed to glow blue as well, but they left that out and they actually just screwed that. Glamdring, they screwed it up. They meant to actually, oh shit, we missed that. So Glamdring was supposed to glow blue and Narsil was supposed to have this white fire in battle. So So
So Narsil, do you remember, JS, do you remember in Return of the King when Arwen's like dying on, like she's on the couch and her hands are going cold?
Yeah.
Whole thing, and Elrond's
Yeah.
like, "You're dying."
Yeah.
So and then she's like, "Yeah, but like you need to reforge the sword." So then he goes and reforges he fixes he get hit with the elves, the elf helpers do it.
a little bit of crazy glue.
Not Elrond, but like whatever. And then he goes to like just before he goes into like the what is it the death, the mountain of death, what is it?
Mountain Doom?
Mount Doom. Or a Druin.
Yeah, that. So when he goes in there, when he gets the dead army, and they all come, they're all in like green, like their lights.
Oh, yeah.
Love it. You go, girl.
Oh, thank you.
Awesome, Linz.
So that's and when then Elrond appears and he brings him the sword, and that's when then he calls it Andril, but really it used to be Narsil. And the only reason it's changed names is because it's been reforged.
Yeah. Aragorn, in the book, Aragorn just changes the name. He wants to call it something different, that's all, but it's still.
Oh,
anyways.
really?
Yeah. Aragorn just changes the name. Yeah,
Huh.
Flame of the West.
Is it Elrond that calls it Andril?
Yeah, but that's the movie. The book. The book. It's actually reforged when they leave Rivendell. So he has it all the way through when they're on their quest. So that's a different thing. And then
Oh, okay.
So the character of Aragorn is very different in the movie and the book. He's more self-assured. He's not wishy-washy. Oh, I don't know if I can do this. And the character of Faramir, which Jeff always gives me a hard time because he's a bit of a, oh, nobody loves me. Dad doesn't love me. What am I going to do? in the book, that's a part of it, that he doesn't have the relationship with his father that Boromir has, and that Farmer is a disappointment. But it's not, his character's so much stronger in the books. He's like, oh no, nobody loves me. So no, he's not like that in the book so much. But anyways,
Jeff's just tripping because he's Boromir, so he's the older brother.
he gives me he sends me a lot of memes once in a while. It's funny.
That doesn't sound like me at all.
No, not at all. So
hey,
but,
you live and you get the girl, so congratulations.
I get the girl. Yes.
You just never got our father's love. That's all. It's fine. It's totally
fine. And all the baggage that goes with that. So anyways.
Yeah, no, exactly. So when was the last time? So Mike, let me ask you then real quick. When was the last time you read the books?
I'm currently reading Silmarillion right now, and I have Tales of Gondolin. Actually, I go back when I left Lord of the Rings probably 2 years ago from start to finish.
Okay.
But you see, I actually the stories of the first and second age, here's the thing, are a lot more interesting. There's a lot more to those stories in the first and second age. Unfortunately, Tolkien was not able to elaborate on a lot of those stories because he wanted to. He just didn't have the time, and he admitted that. He says, "Look, I just don't have the time to." So, Unfinished Tales is actually the book about a lot of these stories he was elaborating on. He just didn't quite finish. That his son Christopher did as best he could to edit.
It's not the same though, Christopher. Christopher's writings it doesn't sound like Tolkien.
Well, it's his dad's writings. He just puts them together and fills in blanks. So that's all Christopher's doing to make a finished product, right? Because his dad never finished them.
So is there enough material? Like, is there ever a time where you don't have some type of book on the go that has something to do with Tolkien's work?
No, there's always
much.
Yes, there is that much. There's always a book or two beside my bed
Right.
I can read, and I'll just pick it up and open a page because I'm so versed in what's going on. I just need to remember it all. Like I said, you're talking from when I was 10 years old.
No. Granted.
And high, just like your DC stuff. I mean, how your knowledge of some of this stuff is just like, wow.
Yeah.
Because it's like, it goes deep, right?
Yeah, no, that's what passions and stuff are for. So, Linz, you said you've already watched the films, 2 or 3 times this year. So when was your last full watch of the extended?
It's probably a couple weeks ago. I just finished it. I probably just finished it. And then it's so funny. I posted on my story and like my friends are like, didn't you just watch this? And I'm like, yeah, but like now I'm watching it I'm trying to like be in different characters in my mind when I'm watching it so I can experience it in different ways. So now like after when I finish, I'm halfway through my book now. And after this is done, I feel like I'm watching like the appendices or something. So I'm getting like extra information. So that I need to watch it again so I can, when I hear things like when I hear things that I missed all these years watching it, but now watching it with this information of like secret, so I'll be able to know. So I'm so excited. This is a whole new adventure for me.
That's fair. So did you make a conscious decision, or have you made a conscious decision not to watch the Hobbit films? Because it just blows me away that you're such a giant Lord of the Rings films fan.
Yeah,
and you watch
that
them
surprises
so many
me.
times,
Yeah.
But you haven't even entertained watching the Hobbit movies, and they've been out for some time. It feels like you've made a decision not to watch them.
Yeah, no, I just haven't.
Missed them.
Well, I mean, I didn't want to like with the Lord of the Rings DVDs and stuff. Like I've purchased them after seeing them with family. I guess it reminds me of my parents and like when I was younger. But I just never got into The Hobbit and all the whole story of it, so I just didn't bother. So yeah, I guess so. I guess to answer your question, yes, a conscious decision.
So do you think at some point you'll break down and actually give them a, because obviously there is some stuff in there that does tie it back into Lord of the Rings. That
Maybe I will. Yeah, maybe I will because I'm curious about Legolas, like how Gimli always calls him the prince, like. He's always like chirping him. He's like princely prince. What does he say? He says stuff about. He just makes fun of him for being
Princeling.
like a princess and stuff, all this stuff, right? So, and it comes from obviously he is a prince, and his dad did Thranduil? Did he have anything?
Thranduil.
Did he do anything interesting, Mike?
He's not
they
mentioned
praise the
a
high
lot.
elves and they
No,
praise the elven kings, but I've never heard of like
he's
I'm
not.
reading this book and I'm like, where's Thranduil? Like, nothing.
Yeah, no, he hasn't done even in the Silmarillion. There's not a lot of Thranduil. They delve into him a little bit in Unfinished Tales, but not a lot. Not a lot. He's a Sindarin elf. He's not an Noldoran elf, so he's not the high elves. He's one below that. But in any case, yeah.
Okay.
So not a lot. Not a lot. Yeah, you should watch. You should watch
I'll
it.
probably watch it. Like,
But
I'll
the
probably watch it.
cartoon, damn it, watch that cartoon from the 70s. It's sweet as hell. Bilbo's wonderful. I'm a Bilbo guy. Not so much a Frodo. I love Bilbo. Bilbo's my guy.
This was a business card that I got from, well, it's not a business card, but I got some stuff from this token shop. It's called the Token Shop in Holland. And this is what they sent along. And I'm like, well, I ordered a bunch of Arwen stuff. Like, why?
Does it have their contact info on it?
Yeah, on the back.
So it's a business card.
Yeah, but they put a sticker. So this is from the actual trading card game. And then they just put their sticker on it. But like,
Nice.
why would they send me Frodo?
Why not?
I mean, but like, I was ordering a bunch of like Arwen stuff. Like,
You get Frodo.
Arwen.
Maybe they were at Arwen. Maybe they thought you should broaden your horizons a little bit. I don't know. Who knows?
Maybe. But how dare they make that decision?
How
for me?
dare
Yes,
they? Why wasn't I given a choice? I think you should call them back in Holland and demand your Arwen card for sure. I will ship this Frodo back to you. Give me my damn Arwen card.
Be like,
What about
Jeff,
you, JS? When was the last time you dipped your toe in the Little Lord of the Rings universe? Do you remember?
I don't. It's been a while. It's been a while.
But you've watched.
My
Have you watched
youngest-
both trilogies?
No, only
No.
Lord of the Rings. I haven't
Only
watched
Lord
The
of the Rings.
Hobbit.
All right.
No, I have not
Okay.
watched The Hobbit. I do have all of the extendeds right there.
Mm-hmm.
And I have the books that I've never read right there.
nice.
You're prepared.
You know, my
prepared.
youngest just watched them all three
Nice.
maybe a month ago.
Oh, okay.
Loved them. So, you know, I'm glad about that. But I can't even tell you the last time I watched them.
No,
It's
I
been a
think,
while.
I think a rewatch is in order.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Marathon.
And for sure, the
Christmas
extended,
holidays.
by the way, are way better. I know I didn't actually answer that my own question earlier, but the extended versions are way better. I feel like they're completely different movies to me. Like when I watched the extended versions, there was so much more context to everything that it felt like a completely different movie, or all three.
And you
felt like
got
different movies.
and you got the scene with the stew.
Yeah.
The scene with the stew, the scene where Galadriel actually gives them all their pins. There's the scene where, like, there's so many different scenes that you don't get to see in the original that people were so complaining about. They cut this out and they cut that out, and then the extended comes out and all these scenes are there. And it's like, suckers. But you know,
they kept up Tom Bombadil, and like I'm pretty upset about that because it's Goldberry. Jeff, do you know Goldberry and Tom Bombadil? Are you a fan?
I know Tom Bombadil from having read the books, obviously, but I didn't realize.
Goldberry's his
I feel like
wife.
we could have like
Oh,
another
there
whole
you
chat
go.
on the Tom Bombadil, but that's fine. I'll leave it out.
Well, there is leaving Tom Bombadil out was a little bit controversial. I can see why they did it, but I think it could have been added to the movie and been relevant. But I see why they did it. The scouring of the shower at the end too, where Saruman actually appears in the Shire at the end after everything's done and causes all kinds of trouble there. He's killed at Isengard in the movies, but he makes it right to the end of the books and troubles the hobbits right in the Shire. So they have
doesn't
to
he
take care
die
of him.
in Mordor?
Saruman?
Yeah.
Sorry, did I say Sauron? Saruman's the
White
evil,
Wizard.
the wizard who goes
Sauron or
bad.
Saruman?
Yeah.
I might have misspoke. So Saruman in the books dies at the end of the novels. One of the last things that happens, and in the movie he dies in Isengard with the Rohirrim and all of them around. He falls in the wheel. You know, the wheel.
In the extended edition, yeah.
Yeah, he takes him around and he falls and So and that was another part of the books where the hobbits have to get together and kick out all these ruffians led by Saruman at the end. So that was left out too. There's a lot of things, but like I said, you can't put everything in. I think the movies are epic. I mean, like they're never, are they going to make something like that again? Maybe they will with, the Amazon series. We'll see. $1 billion.
That's funny that you mentioned that too, JS, because that scene is in only the extended. So originally in the theatrical, Christopher Lee's part was cut out, who plays Saruman. And he was genuinely upset with Peter Jackson to the point where they were not speaking, because Christopher Lee is the only one on the cast that had actually met and spent time with J.R.R. Tolkien. They were
Christopher
actual
Lee was
friends.
Yeah.
Right. So he always felt that he wanted to be part of of any type of adaptation that would happen. So he finally gets a chance. He's playing the White Wizard Saruman and the whole 9 yards. And then his key scene in Return of the King is cut. And he was extraordinarily upset. Even with the bringing him back in the extended editions, apparently was not quite enough to heal those wounds as far as that goes. So you can read up about that on Google. Yeah. Mr. Lee was
wow,
not.
that's good.
Not
Now,
happy.
Tolkien died in 1972. So that's when he passed away. So, Christopher Lee's an old actor too, so he would have been around for sure. I didn't know he had met Tolkien. No, that's very cool.
Was it Christopher that he met or JR? Yeah.
No, J.R.R.
Oh, he
Tolkien.
did.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Like I said, he was the only member of the cast that had actually spent time with J.R.R. Tolkien, was Christopher Lee. So, and just as a little aside, it's rumored that Ian Fleming's James Bond was actually based on the life of Christopher Lee. If you ever want to do a deep dive on one of the coolest mofos on planet Earth, go look up
Christopher Lee
and his time spent as a spy in the British intelligence service. I'm assuming the SAS. Pretty dope. So yeah, the rumor is he knew Ian Fleming as well as J.R.R. Tolkien, and Ian Fleming's James Bond is supposed to be based on the real life adventures of Christopher Lee. So pretty dope dude. Yeah.
There's some fun facts.
I saw somewhere that Christopher Lee wanted to originally play Gandalf.
Yes. Yeah.
But he was too old. He was too old by the time the movie was being made. So he desperately wanted to be something. So PJ's like, so you can be Saruman. So there was
PJ.
I was just gonna say, did you just say PJ? Are you and like Peter Jackson like sort of best buds?
Like get besties or something? BFFs?
Like, are you guys like this, but you're like the one over here? Like, I don't know what's happening right now.
I don't know. I talk about it so much. It's just easier.
Me and Peach were just hanging out talking about the films and stuff, and Peach was like, "What do you think if I do this?" And I was like, "Nah, it's not good." I'm glad I wasn't the only one that picked up on that, JS. Thanks for having me.
I'm used to it.
Both of you guys.
I'm used to it.
He wanted to be Gandalf. That was his person. Then he would have had so much of a more bigger role, but then he was too old because Ian was what, 60, 63 or something when he shot it. He's the same. Viggo Mortensen apparently now is the same age, of course. I mean, it's been 20 years. He's the same age as Ian was when they shot it.
I have a hard time believing that. Christopher Lee. Oh, Ian. Sorry, the same age as Ian. Sorry, because I was gonna say Christopher Lee is born in 1922.
No, he's Aragorn would have been like Aragorn's the same age as Gandalf.
As Gandalf was when he filmed the movie.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
I can't believe it's 20 years.
Next week.
Unbelievable.
Very cool. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have a rewatch very, very soon.
Yeah, 20-year anniversary next week. Like I said, if you guys haven't seen the Colbert skit, it's amazing. It's genius. You got to go check that out.
Yeah, Colbert actually has a couple of movie set used swords. He has a sting, and he has whatever sword Aragorn used.
Really?
He has a sting from The Hobbit, and he has whatever sword Aragorn used in The Lord of the Rings that Peter Jackson gave to him. That's what a massive, massive fan. Did you ever watch the Colbert Report, like the show that he did before? He would have guests on, and they would try to stump him on Lord of the Rings stuff, and he would ruin everyone. Yeah, his level of knowledge. He makes Mike look like a novice. Like Colbert is like bananas for Lord of the Rings. So I'm not surprised. I knew that was going to rank you. I knew you'd be like.
Is it bananas for Lord of the Rings or Tolkien in general?
Well, Tolkien in general.
He's read everything.
So he knows probably everything about like all the other stuff,
the whole 9 years
universe of.
Yeah, he's got an entire bookshelf behind him of all the different works as far as that goes. So yeah,
it's funny. If you go on YouTube and the amount of fan videos that are made of Lord of the Rings and Middle Earth are unbelievable. I've been perusing it lately, just explaining different things. How the pronunciation of a lot of these names is important too. You can't get those wrong. And Tolkien has a lot of, the glossary of how to pronounce these actual names. But if you go on YouTube, there's a lot of amazing videos that these fans have put out explaining stuff and what is. So it's an easy way to kind of get into it and just listen to some of these guys that really know their stuff. And I've done a little bit of that lately. So it's kind of cool. So YouTube's just, that fandom is massive. Like I don't, like, you want to talk Marvel fandom, you want to talk DC fandom. That Middle Earth fandom might be, because it's absolutely worldwide. It's from end to end. So it's a humongous, and it's a rabid fandom too. It's a very intense fandom. So it's pretty serious. So
clearly, obviously. The folks we got on here, however I'm doing that.
No, I mean, look, don't get me wrong. You're saying that as if we're not fans,
Jeff.
but I'm still a fan of the movies. I'm just not as big of a.
Oh no, yeah, everybody has their
as
thing.
These guys,
Everybody has their thing.
I was always more of a Star Trek guy when I was growing up. Star Trek and Star Wars was my thing. And,
Oh, sorry, I should do that. That's right.
That's
Live long
right.
and prosper, my friend.
Okay,
like every
JS.
other episode we do.
May the force be with you.
Okay, hold on. I'm going to ask you, JS, what's the best Star Wars movie? What's the best? And then I'm gonna gauge your answer. What's the best Star Wars movie? You know what I'm going to say. Jeff knows what I'm going to say.
So,
Okay,
I get a lot of flack for saying this. My favorite is Return of the Jedi. I know universally, Empire
100%.
is
100%.
the most loved.
Incredible
But
movie.
For me, Return of the Jedi is my favorite. It's when Luke actually becomes a Jedi.
Yeah.
I don't know. Jedi was my jam. It was the first movie I ever saw in theaters
That gold bikini, man.
when I was a kid.
Yeah, no, it's excellent.
Gold
I'm not going to
bikini.
argue. It's a classic. As long
Yeah.
as you didn't say The Adventures of Jar Jar Binks, I'm good.
No, but I will say this. I really, as much as I don't like the sequel trilogy, I really liked Rogue One. There's something about Rogue One that brought me back to those days of the original trilogy.
Is legit. No, I
Yeah.
love you. That's perfect. Rogue One's an amazing movie.
Yeah, I know Jeff doesn't like anything that Disney's put out lately, but no,
No,
actually, you
that's
said
no.
you liked Solo.
I like The Force Awakens. No, The Force Awakens.
The Force Awakens.
Yes. Yeah. I really
that's
enjoyed
that's
The
the
Force
best of the three. That's the best of the new three for sure.
I did not like Rogue One. I did not enjoy Solo. I love The Mandalorian. That's pretty dope.
Yeah, The Mandalorian's amazing.
Yeah.
I like the Phantom Menace.
Okay, so Lindsay won't be joining us anymore. Thanks for coming out, Lindsay. Bye.
That's better known as The Adventures of Jar Jar Binks.
I mean, The Phantom Menace gave us
like the
probably the
costumes.
best
The Queen
lightsaber fight
Amidala stuff
ever.
is amazing.
Oh, the Duel of the Fates is awesome. Are you kidding me?
It's one of the best face-offs, duels, lightsaber fights,
Yeah.
pivotal moments in Star
Yeah.
Wars.
Yeah, for sure.
And that all happened in The Phantom Menace. So,
Yeah.
A
Yeah, the
lot of
last 10 minutes of
people-
that film was great.
I like
It
the
gets a lot of
costumes.
hate,
Is
but-
dog shit. Anyways,
Not her costumes. The costumes are fire.
fire.
Yes.
Absolutely.
You mean the Amidala costumes?
Yes.
Yes.
Because the rest of the costumes are pretty basic. They're pretty just regular
Well,
Star
they're boring
Wars.
Star Wars things, except
Yeah.
for Amidala. She's like this,
Yeah.
A queen. She's
is,
a literal
goddess.
queen.
Like
Yeah.
everything else in Star Wars in regards to clothes is terrible.
Um,
But
disagree, but that's fine.
but
My
not
Jedi
in-
robes are pretty dope.
not in all her stuff. Her stuff is amazing. The celebration, the parade gown, the parade Padme.
Oh, just to die
Amazing.
for.
No, it's really pretty.
It is really pretty. Hey, that's a ring on your finger.
So,
Does it got
you
the
know,
elven writing on it?
it does. That is the one ring. I can't focus
One
on
ring
it right
to
now.
rule them
but
all, and in the darkness bind them.
Nice. I was wearing my earring, my one.
It is
ring.
the one ring. But since we're veering off topic and we've been on for over an hour now,
Yeah.
it's probably time for us to start ending this. But before we go, I mean, me and Jeff have been talking about what we're doing, God, for the last 18 weeks in a row. But Lindsay and Mike, what are you guys up to? What are you working on? What's next for you guys? Your socials, anything you want to pitch, this is the time.
Go ahead, Linz. You start.
Okay, so right now I'm fixing up my Sylvie. I have a Wanda, I'm upgrading my Wanda. I have a lot of cause plans for next year, and I'm really excited for it. Goldberry from Lord of the Rings, of course. So I'm doing that. I want to do Luthien as well, who also Lord of the Rings. But like, these are book creations. Like, I'm not basing it on like TV.
Your own interpretation of these characters.
Correct. Yeah. And I'm
I love
really
that.
excited to do Goldberry because has like long blonde hair and she wears like this really pretty green dress. That's what it says in the novel. And I don't know. Yeah. So like, I mean, there's a ton of like, and that people will love. Like, I'm sure like people will love the, Poison Ivy coming up, or like different versions of Harley Quinn that I do. But I'm most excited for Goldberry and a few others. I have a USO girl coming up from Captain America.
A few others.
Yeah.
Mike, what about you?
What about you, Mike?
I don't know. I'm working on, like I said, the big one that I'd like to do is that World War II cap from Captain America. I've been bugged about.
It's my favorite.
Yeah, that's the one that's like I've been costing out, and I think it suits my personality and what I like to do. There is like a lane that I like to stay in, and he's definitely there. He's that hero guy. Like I do a lot of Rick Flag, same difference, same thing. So yeah, and obviously we do the Watchman. I do the Night Owl. Night Owl. So I do that with that cap, and then maybe obviously Faramir. It's a lot of money, and who knows what's going to happen this year with cons now with this Omni-Man or Omnicron or whatever you call it. Omni-Man's coming. So Jeff,
get ready
for Omni-Man. Jeff does an Omni-Man. So
other than that, that's another one I'm doing.
Other than that, I have
gotta get it fixed.
I know.
I have a monster cosplay that I'm working on that those two know, and they think I'm nuts. Well, they think I'm nuts anyways, but it's a monster cosplay that I'm working on from a movie, like a creature, and I have no idea if I can do it, but I got the foam cut out already for it, so we'll see. I'm not going to say just what it is yet, but it's coming, hopefully. So
Very cool.
Yeah.
Lindsay Cosplins on Instagram. Mike, Crazy Mike Cosplay. No, what was it called?
Crazy Mike. Crazy Mike
Crazy
Cosplay.
Mike. Yeah, Crazy Mike Cosplay.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah.
Mr. Jeff.
Yep. Same old, same old. You guys can find me, Messiah Complex Cosplay, across all social media. Boromir, and behind me, will be debuting this year. And I've already said Blue Beetle is pretty much ready to go. So that will be
Booster Gold. Him and I are doing. Yeah, I do Booster Gold.
So we're gonna do
Blue Beetle.
Beetle,
and then
Booster,
we're gonna drink beer. And then we're gonna drink beer.
Yeah. The Robert Pattinson Batman and Cobb Vanth. So the update for Cobb Vanth is I have pretty much everything other than the armor. So the pants, the shirt, the scarf, the accessories, that's all good. I just need to get the armor and beat the hell out of it.
So are you looking to get 501st approved armor? Or are you looking like what's your plan there?
What?
No. Yeah.
No.
I haven't really got into details on the podcast.
How do you submit your costume?
I don't know, and I don't care.
So first of all, you need to find your local
Here
region.
comes the controversy. I love it. I was waiting for this.
Yeah.
Do you do a fashion show? Do you have to like walk out there and like
Yeah.
be like,
I can see
Yeah, totally.
Jeff?
Yeah.
Cobb?
Oh yeah.
Oh.
So you have to find your local legion, and then you have to book FaceTime with them, and then you have to come out in your full costume.
Hang on.
You have to show them how it was built. They will inspect everything.
Hang on.
And then they will decide if you are worthy of their presence.
You may not even get that far. So Lindsay, asked Megan, because she tried to submit her Holdo from The Last Jedi. The character that Laura Dern played, the admiral, the with the purple dress and
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So all she did was send some pictures in, and they came back with 7 different things that they wanted her to change for approval, and she went. So
Really?
yeah, you don't have to quite go that far. You don't have to arrange a face-to-face. You can just submit photos off the bat just to see if you're going to be even close to what they're looking for. And then if you want to make the changes that they want, you can go from there. But you can still go to the 501st or the Rebel Legion site look up the character that you're looking to do, and there will be like a point-by-point guide
All the
on
prerequisites.
what you have to hit to be able to even be considered for approval.
Oh, that's a lot.
Yeah, I won't be doing any of that because screw those guys. But I mean, Cobb Vanth
is
is
a
going to
lot.
be So to answer your question, JS, I'm just gonna grab some Boba Fett armor, like even if it's a Ruby's Boba Fett, and then just beat the hell out of it and make it emulate what as its condition was when Cobb Vanth wore it in that in the Marshall episode. So yeah. But Megan made the shirt for me. It was a custom shirt. So red scarves I have in abundance from all my time as Negan. The pants are basically just hack pants. The boots.
I did a
are brown
Ruby's
boots.
cosplay once, and I've never heard the end of it at one time. So
The Batman.
I'll send you a picture of Mike and his Ruby's Batman.
Oh my God! Yes,
it's
please
the worst
do.
thing you've ever seen in your whole
Well,
life.
you know what, Jeff? As my first post on my new Instagram, I will post my Ruby's Batman.
No,
Actually, no.
There you go. I want to see that.
No,
I dare you.
no, I dare. Done.
Oh.
What about you, JS? Is there anything that you want to promote before we head out of here?
No, not really. I don't want to talk about more about what we're doing next because we still haven't started on it. So I keep talking about it, but we haven't done anything. So
It'll come up.
I'm not going to talk about it right now, but definitely make sure everybody follows us both here on YouTube as well as on Instagram at Geeks & Co. My personal Instagram, I can't see where it is over here, JS Belanger 1701. But yeah, I think that's basically it for today, guys. Thanks for coming. Really appreciate having both of you on. It was amazing chatting with you. We're definitely going to have you guys back on, even though I don't know if I want to talk more Lord of the Rings with you guys because you guys are real nerds. Like you're talking circles around us. So we'll talk about something else that me and Jeff can participate. But hey. Thanks for sticking with us, everybody, till the end. If you're still watching, that's awesome. Like I said, click that like and subscribe button below. But that will be it for today. Stay geeky.
Thank you.
We'll see you next week.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.